Make sure you might make sure that you have block or two, bolsters, the usual um, props that you might want to have, and we'll start sitting comfortably. Yeah, whatever that is for you, so your spine can be long. And I'm hoping that my cat doesn't knock over my webcam up there. She's up on the table where my camera is. Um, so let's just let our eyes be soft or closed, and we'll start to go inside and come into our breath. And as we come inside and notice our breath, just start by noticing it. Just noticing the breath, and then maybe start to elongate it a little bit, slow it down a little bit so that it's more long and even. Bringing the breath all the way into the pelvis, all the way down, relaxing the belly. Just being in touch with what's going on inside, noticing if there's any tense spots that want some breath sent to them. You could breathe into that. And then I thought it would be interesting to bring in the whole chant of Om. So Om is a traditional chant often done in yoga. The first sound is Ah, which is connecting into the root chakra. So that's where you bring the sound really down. And the next sound is Oo, which brings it up, the energy up into the heart space. And then the last sound is which brings the energy up into the head. So that is the purpose behind Aum. So I thought it might be interesting to do that a few times and just notice how that feels in our body. So we'll start by taking a full breath and oh. And again. And 3 times. Oh. And after 3 ohms, just notice how your body feels. Breathe. And we'll go ahead and bring our legs into a long-legged butterfly. So you can bring your feet out in front of you, away from your body a ways, and maybe a pillow or bolster under your legs if you like. The hips can really relax. And we'll just start to come forward here. So let your torso relax, let your hips relax, the legs. So I thought today would be a good time to do a deep stretch class. That's sort of conducive to the stillness, which is perfect for this time of year, going into that still time of winter. And while we're here, we can either just let our head drop and let our spine round, if that's comfortable for you. You might massage your feet or just give them a little bit of love here. Massage a little bit if that feels good to you. Being in that window of time where the solstice, winter solstice, summer solstice in the southern hemisphere, but winter solstice here for us, help us go deeper into the stillness so that a seed can be planted for the new year, the upcoming year ahead. People like to make New Year's resolutions. It's all about our intention for the next cycle, the upcoming cycle. Feel free to move your feet closer in towards your pelvis if you prefer to shorten your butterfly legs. You can always adjust, just shifts the stretch a little bit from maybe the outside to the inside of the thighs, legs. My cat's turning into a yinster. Kitty, you're on my paper. Oh my goodness. Kitty likes to take advantage of when I'm on the ground or somewhere quiet and still where I can pet her, especially on the floor. This time of year that is so conducive to stillness is, of course, one of the yin tattvas, the second tattva. After we come into a pose, then we are still in that pose or in that asana. So let's go ahead and start to come up from there. Just press yourself up to sitting. And then we'll widen our legs out into a straddle, as wide as your legs want to go to start with, and you can always change it. Just making sure that our pelvis is upright and not tilted back. So if it does tilt back, you can bring your legs closer together, or you can sit on kind of a bolster to help you. And then we'll just bring our arms forward and let our torso relax between our legs here. So letting go into, always coming into the pose with awareness, finding our edge. First time, finding our edge. We feel some resistance. We don't push it. Allow allowing the stretch, allowing our body to tell us just how far we should go. And then eventually we might be able to let go a little further. In the stillness that we seek, it's of the body like a majestic mountain, of the breath like a calm mountain lake, of the mind like the deep blue of the sky. Our bodies are, our body, the muscles are quiet and still, so that the effect of the stretch can go deeper into the connective tissue and joints, deeper layers of fascia. Breath is regular, not forced, just full and even. Pauses, it's the pauses between the inhale and the exhale where the deepest stillness lies. Might notice if take that little bit of pause between inhale and the exhale. Almost like we can transcend time and space. It's kind of brings us into another dimension. You can feel like our breath is breathing us. Where does this breath come from? We think it comes from our body. Okay, so we're going to press ourselves up slowly and just turn to the right leg, or the right leg with our sits bones rooted. We'll just come forward. If you want to have some support for your head, especially after a lot of forward fold poses, a block under the forehead or 2 blocks under the forehead for resting your head can be really helpful to let go into the pose. So we're not straining our neck muscles or having to work to support our neck, right? So that might be an option to allow for deeper relaxation. course, if our straddle wants to change, get wider or narrower at any point, might make a little adjustment. The sky is a good metaphor for the mind. There's clouds that come and go, like our thoughts. Or there's winds that come and go, might represent our feelings, emotions. But we are aware that the deep blue of the sky is always behind any clouds or weather that might come up. The breath is sort of the back door to our mind. So if we slow and even out our breathing, our mind will become still. And if our mind becomes still, our breath will automatically slow down and become more even. Work in tandem. Okay, so we'll start to slowly press ourselves from there. Take your time. If you need to bring your legs together for a while, they need a break, you can do that. Or just turn the torso toward the left leg and just start to relax forward here. Again, you might like to try having a block or two under the forehead. You can also put a bolster on top of your leg or find something that would help support for a deeper letting go. Particular pose is getting a stretch to a lot of the lower body meridians. Got kidney and liver running the inside of the legs and the gallbladder and spleen that run along the hips, lateral hips and the side body. And the bladder meridian channel that runs along the back of our legs, our backside. Not to mention the hip opening, a great hip opening that happens. one of the things I do love about yin is how versatile it is. You can make it a little more relaxing and restorative, or we can make it a little more energetic, just about any of the poses. So there's so much availability, like with a straddle pose like this. You rest your head on the blocks and you completely relax, or you take your arm over your head and you increase the stretch, adding the yang part to that pose. You can always increase the intensity or decrease it. It's really a matter of personal preference and making the asana your own, right? So we don't have to have a fixed idea about it. We just listen to our body. And as always, we can come in and out of the pose anytime we feel like we need to, or do a different pose than the one I'm doing. Always choose a different pose. So we can start to slowly come up from there. Take your time. And as you come up, you might start to bend your knees and bring your legs a little closer together. Oh, whatever way works to come out of that pose gently. That was a long time with our legs straddled, so let's give our legs a little movement. And you might want to bring your feet in with your hands behind your hips and lift and lower the hips a few times. If it feels good to you, you can also windshield wiper the legs, just anything that feels good for restoring the equilibrium. And then we'll extend our legs out in front of us. And come forward into caterpillar. So just relaxing. Again, block for the head. If you want to rest your forehead on a block or two, you can just figure out what might work, because this is a lot of forward folding and the neck might get, although it's really good for our neck to get a good stretch and our spine. Everyone's different and every day is a little different. And we won't stay in caterpillar very long, just a couple of minutes. Okay, go ahead and slowly come up, making our way up to sitting. Lean back on the hands. Move around, shake the legs, whatever feels good to you. And then we'll come onto our belly. And we'll come into infant pose on our belly to start with. Engage our backside muscles. So just bringing the arms alongside the body, lifting the head and chest up, pulling the shoulders back, like locust in yang yoga. And just take a few breaths here. And then we can bring our arms under our shoulders, elbows under the shoulders, maybe rock your pelvis side to side or whatever feels good to you to come into the Sphinx. You might want to lift our head up and as a counter pose to the forward fold. A little stretch in the front of the neck, a little compression in the back of the neck. Going from the forward fold poses into the back bend. That is so beneficial to our sacrum and our iliosacral joint, keeping it healthy and limber. If you want to lift your feet, of course, you can do that. You can also grab hold of one leg if you like and stretch it towards you, just any variation. If in this pose that your body would like to do right now. My cat likes it up on the table now where my camera is, and I think because she wants to look out the window, she can see out the window. I'm just nervous she's gonna knock over the camera. So let's take a short break by sliding our left knee up toward our left shoulder and sliding our right arm underneath our left shoulder. We get a little shoulder stretch, and you can just reach that arm as much as you like, and then rest the head down on the hand. The knee adjusts however that feels good to you, or your leg to open the hip, or just let your hip relax. And then we'll slide our leg down and draw our right arm back through, back into Sphinx or seal. Seal, we just spread the arms a little wider, spread the fingers wide, straighten the arms. Or you can also lift the pelvis off the ground, pillow underneath the pelvis for support, or any variations of Sphinx that feel good to you. Being aware of our breath, that it's not labored or strained in any of the poses. So we don't push our edges too far. Back bend poses are so nourishing for the kidneys and the kidney channel, the seat of our will, and called along with the urinary bladder channel, they work together and are known as our strength. So the strength of our being, the strength of our will, the strength of our body, all of that resides within the kidneys. Chinese medicine, the organs are not thought of so much as a thing as they are a function. Chinese medicine sees the organs more as a function throughout the body instead of an isolated thing. Helps to understand the interconnectedness of all of it, right? Working together. So if you happen to be up in Seal, you might want to start to make your way down to Sphinx. We'll slide our right knee up and thread our left arm under the right. Go ahead and slide your right leg down and draw the left arm back. And we can make our way up to our all fours. You're able to be on your knees. And just curling our tailbone under, start to slowly round the back. Drop the head. And then coming into an arch. Just very gently moving back and forth between that rounding and that arching of our spine. Bring our spine back into balance. Then we can circle the hips and kind of just let our body move a little bit in spirally motion. Go where it wants to. And the other direction. Make sure we go both directions. And then we'll sit back into the child's pose. Or if you're not able to do that, you might come onto your back and or if you prefer to come onto your back and do a happy baby if that works better for you. Similar pose. Right? Just take a moment here, maybe with the knees open. Bringing the knees as wide as they want to go, or maybe they want to be together. Our arms are reaching out in front. We can get that nice stretch underneath the shoulders. Then go ahead and come up from there, um, back onto the knees. And we're going to slide one leg in, whichever leg wants to go first. And we'll come into swan. So swan 90-90, very similar poses, right? You can always move your foot farther out that way or in towards you more with our other leg back. And we'll just start to come down onto our elbows here. And adjust your foot wherever it wants to go. You might also sit off to the side of your hip, at least to start with. Come up more onto the leg if that feels right for you. Just any of the variations that are possible with swan. Eventually lying all the way down on top of the leg, but you might want to stay up on the elbows for a while, just finding what your body needs, finding the edge. I always find Christmas to be such an interesting time of year that besides being that still deeper time of year, I always find that the memories from my past Christmases, they all seem to sort of show up. They sort of come flowing in, and it's just an interesting time to look at family patterns, family dynamics. How it was as a child, how I felt about it. I never wanted anything as a child. I remember telling my mom when I was 8 years old, she asked me what I wanted for Christmas and she handed me a catalog and said, "Here, find something." And I said, I don't want anything. And I just have a memory of her looking really puzzled. And then, so I started looking through the catalog, and then I finally found roller skates. And I said, "Oh, that's what I want." So I got roller skates for Christmas. And I did love roller skating as a child and as a teenager. I roller skated a lot. I like the dynamic speed aspect of roller skating. So if you want to press up and do a little bit of a back bend here, kind of moving, you don't have to, you can stay laying down on your leg, or you can kind of lift up into the proud swan. You can always grab hold of your leg as well if you want to add that piece. Lots of variations here. Run up with like a little stretch. Want to come down a little bit longer on top of that leg or not. Let's go ahead and start to come up slowly from here. And as you do, you can slide your other leg in, around to sitting. Back is a little bit wonky today. And just do whatever feels good to you, whether it's windshield wiper the legs or shake them out, wake up that leg. And then we'll go to the leg you didn't do. So whichever leg that was, we'll come on that side. Bring your foot as close in or as far out as feels comfortable to you. And sit off to the side of your leg or on top of the leg. Finding our edge and starting there, of course. Changing it as needed or as we can let go more. There's a full moon in a couple of days, actually, the day or two after Christmas. So I think it's the 27th is a full moon in Cancer, which Cancer is the sign of family. So it might be a particularly nostalgic or memory-filled or possibly really family-oriented holiday time. Hopefully in a good way. That Cancer moon will put an emphasis on family matters, as well as home and how at home are we in our bodies. At home with our earthly family or with our friends or whatever we consider to be family. Time to sink into that feeling and spirit of home. So being around family and or friends, whoever we consider to be family, can really also bring in a sort of a heightened awareness of the true gift, right? What's the real gift? We have gift giving is always a tradition, of course, but what is the true, what do we consider the true gift, the real gift? It's a good thing to ponder. There's really no right or wrong answer, but A good thing to ponder at this time of year. The true gifts are usually the intangible things. Those things that money can't buy. Feel like pressing up into a proud swan. You can feel free to do that or stay laying over the leg. Of course, you can also bend your back leg and hold on if that works for you, feels good to you. Feel free to come back down anytime. If you are lifted up, you might want to come back down for a little longer on top of that leg and just, if there's ever any tingling sensation or, of course, sharp pain of any sort, make sure you come right out of the pose. It might be natural for the leg to fall, kind of start to fall asleep a little bit, and what we call falling asleep. That's a little tingly, but if it's a nerve kind of tingly, make sure that come out of the pose because we don't want to have that pain. Okay, so we can start to slowly bring ourselves out of that pose, and you can slide your back feet up as you come up. We'll come onto our back, move our knees into our chest, and just relax the body. Maybe you want to stir your legs or whatever feels good to you. If you want to just bring your legs up so we get the blood flowing back towards our heart. Move the feet if you want here. And then bending the knees. You can have bolstering on the left side if you want to support in the twist. And we'll just take our legs over to the left. Now you can have your legs together, Or you can extend your left leg down the mat and just cross your right leg over. Just find whatever feels good to you. And let your right arm extend out from your shoulder. Finding a twist that feels good to your body. Your left leg can be bent and you can bring your foot up towards your hip. It can be straight, or you can have your legs stacked on top of each other. Just making sure our bones are supported. Twist. Happen to live in a cold place like I do, and put a blanket on top of you. Something to keep warm. Okay, so you want to bring your right leg up by grabbing hold of it with your right hand and come onto the back again. And we can switch our bolsters over if you're using them to the right side. You might want to hug your knees in towards your chest. Just whatever feels good to you. And then we'll go to the other side. So whether you want to just bring your legs together and carry them across the body, or straighten your right leg down the mat, or have it bent with your foot towards your hip. Finding a twist that feels good to your body here. Letting that left arm extend out from the left shoulder. Supporting our leg. Twist is on our back is such a nourishing thing to do at the end of the practice to reset the nervous system and recalibrate the spine, bring everything back into balance, and very relaxing as well. Giving our insides a little massage. Now you can feel free to stay a little longer in the twist if you like, if that's feeling good to your body, or start to slowly come out. Come on to the back. Whatever feels good to you here. And we'll just take a moment, to integrate and breathe. Breathing that energy throughout the body, throughout all the meridians. Feeling our breath going all the way through. Noticing how we feel noticing how our breath is, noticing how our mind is. And just a short poem from Terry Tempest Williams that I thought was good for this time. The world is holy. We are holy. All life is holy. Daily prayers are delivered on the lips of breaking waves, the whispering of grasses, the shimmering of leaves. Giving thanks to our body and giving thanks to our breath, giving thanks to anything else that you'd like to give thanks for. And thank you all for coming. Feel free to continue to lie down and relax or to get up slowly